What's good, y'all? We're gonna be joining everything in a second. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, 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 boom. Back and get on. Get on. Put my bitch on. Bitch on. Don't do the fake kicking. They go a rocket is taking it. It's a problem with you, then we straighten it. Swap out the cat with a demon in it. Upgrade the band up with fiends in it. I got some shooters you seen with it. Run that shit back, I just seen it. We going to straighten. What's good, y'all? We about to be live in a couple minutes. What's good, y'all? We about to be live in a couple minutes. Whoop, whoop. Whoop, whoop.
Straightening, straightening, straightening. Yeah, straightening. Yeah, don't get me straight on straightening. Don't let me get straight on straightening. Boom, 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 boom. Don't not get straightening. Don't not get straightening. What's good, y'all? Say we got one viewer on here. What's happening?
Notice how I look you in your eye, let's go. Next time they get shot. If you really love me, fuck me like a thot. Really let me do what I say. Yeah, let me dead in my eye. Play it, I'ma set it on fire. My little bitch is a masterpiece. I ain't even gotta be funny when I'm telling no joke. She still gon' laugh at me. Still suck my dick when she mad at me. Let a nigga make me mad, you see. I nod my head in this piece. Them niggas don't slide on your bitch ass for me. Bust down, call it a new masterpiece. My little bitch is a masterpiece. I ain't even gotta be funny when I'm telling no joke. She still gon' laugh at me. Still suck my dick when she mad at me. Let a nigga make me mad, you see. I nod my head in this piece. Them niggas don't slide on your bitch ass for me. Bust down, call it a new masterpiece. Lay down the window, you see me. Let it bitch down. We got AR, 459s in the two-tone Lamborghini. I walk in this bitch by myself, nigga still got on all this bling bling. I told reach out the top on that ride, little brother, this bitch with that dead ass. Nigga, they just told me that somebody died, but it don't bother me, that's a G thing. No, it don't bother me, it's a G way. I don't know what went down on that one, I don't know what happened on that freeway. Okay, there go that baby, he back now. Run that back, hey, bitch, turn that on replay. Oh, we still got that shit with that pop in it. Oh, they thought that little nigga would pop in it. I'm one of them superstar rappers who actually pop, who really gon' pop niggas. One of them really them pop niggas trying to send when you little niggas up, take the clout with you. And I got this little poop thing. Soon as I went and got her up first, put my clock in it. Like, baby, my bitch now. She know I don't mean no disrespect, I just talk different. Yeah, cause my little bitch is a masterpiece. I ain't even gotta be funny when I'm telling no joke. She still gon' laugh at me. Still suck my dick, she mad at me. Let a nigga make me mad, you see. I nod my head in this beat. Them niggas don't slide on your bitch ass for me. Bust down, call it a new masterpiece. My little bitch is a masterpiece. I ain't even gotta be funny when I'm telling no joke. She still gon' laugh at me. Still suck my dick, she mad at me. Let a nigga make me mad, you see. I nod my head in this beat. Them niggas don't slide on your bitch ass for me. Bust down, call it a new masterpiece. Bust it down, call it your baby. Bust it down. Niggas think I'm from Detroit. I come from that 7 no fuck Charlie May no ball. And you can come play if you want. I'ma leave your ass come like Detroit on the paper. Who fucking with baby, just laugh at you. Quick beat a nigga up, nigga slag. I've been on the jet to get a bag. Probably need to go and do some therapy. At the moments I always feel alone. Just walked in the meeting and I got it on me. They don't know that I got it on me. I done made a whole lot of millions while in the pandemic and they even not even wrong. Clown that nigga better catch up. You ain't in your muscle. That shit there for long. No Buddha like a Barbie doll, shit out the packs. Had to bust out the rapper. Nice ass, fell in love with a real nigga. Time to turn into a savage. A nigga play with me, I probably burn him on camera. Damn, a rapper killed a rapper. A big player, it don't matter what happened before. What really matters happened after. My little bitch is a masterpiece. I ain't even gotta be funny when I'm telling no joke. She still gon' laugh at me. Still suck my dick, she mad at me. Let a nigga make me mad. You see, I nod my head in this beat. Them niggas don't slide on your bitch ass for me. Bust down.
What's good, y'all? We going live right now. What's good? What's good? I appreciate y'all, man, being tuned in. Sitting here patiently waiting and shit, trying to get up on this joint. We finally about to jump in right here. What's up, y'all? Let's see if we can't do this. What's good? What's good? Let's do this live screen. What's good, y'all? Come on. Y'all just saw me for a second. We see me down here on this little jump. And that's cool, but I need the whole box. This is crazy. It shouldn't be like this. Come on. Said it, come on, come on, come on. Y'all know sometimes you gotta start up with your first podcast, like figuring out things and trying to get the mix together. Sometimes you might have a little strenuous, little difficult moment, but it's all good. It's neither here nor there. We're gonna make sure this jump work right. Oh my God. Literally was all the way on the screen. And now I'm not on the screen. So let's see if it does its load up. Edit social media. Man, it's not doing nothing right. Oh, Lord. Can y'all hear me still? All right, good. Yo, this is crazy. View live stream in the web browser. No. Shout out to it. Go to live dashboard. No. What I need to do is have my freaking screen up so y'all can see me. How do stuff like this happen right as I'm going live? Everything was working all this afternoon, y'all. Constantly having a new technical difficulty. Which means this is supposed to absolutely happen, by the way. When you having all of these challenges, that means the devil really working against you. To be like, nah, you ain't gonna do this one. But he can't stop me, man. I got big favor in my life. So, all right. So it says y'all watching. It say we starting soon, which we're already here live. So let's see if we can't go live screen right here and pull me up, bruh. Bruh. What in the world? We got some good recaps going on for this. What's called it? Turn this AC off. See, I can get better audio of your boy. At least. Because look, that's crazy. We got the audio working now. But now we ain't got no video. And I got one viewer, and I appreciate my one viewer. Resolution type, deactivate, configure video. Come on, man. Try it. Add this source. Video camera. Add the source, man, of the webcam. Boom. Alright. Can y'all can see me on here? This is crazy. Let's see. Scale filter. Gotta do all this stuff, y'all. I shouldn't have had to do this. I had set it up already. So what happened was I messed up my scales, I guess. So I have to redo everything. But let's see. I shouldn't have to. I like this pastel. And I'm sorry about this for y'all. But guess what? Today, this was supposed to be our 6-month recap, all right? So I'm going to edit this video up, and it's going to be real cool. And obviously, it says username and stuff. And let me do the live screen. But that's stupid. Definitely don't want that on the live screen. I mean, on that screen. So then I gotta do source, webcam, because the RBG link ain't working. Can y'all hear me? If you can hear me, write in the comment. It say I got a viewer. I'm assuming it's Jeremy or somebody, I don't even know. But shout out to it, man. Let's see, YouTube. Man, I'm gonna do this recap today. I don't care. I'm doing it. It needs to be done. It's getting done. That's the bottom line. That's what's happening. Switch profiles. Let's see. Alright. And it says I got good audio. Alright, so we got webcam going right here. Shout out to that. Told us damn starting soon, but nah, it ain't starting soon. We here. So this obviously is not gonna work. This is some video game stuff. And we don't want that. Alright, so we doing Chrome City. You know, and then I have my edits. Yeah, it was good. What's up, y'all? Make sure y'all subscribe to everything. Let's see if I can blow this up. Alright, so what's also gonna happen is I'm definitely going to be playing my widgets over. That sounded pretty funny. But I will be playing with these widgets for the next couple of weeks and stuff to iron everything out to make sure we're lined up straight. And the show is running smooth. Because this was not smooth this morning, but this evening. But it will be every other time. Because we're here now, right? So, all right, shout out to it. Can y'all see me? View your web stream and a boom, boom, boom. All right, so it says we're live. Our Photo Fresh Podcast, episode 1. This is our 6-month recap on everything that has happened this year, 2024, January, February, March, April, May, and June. All right, we're in July. Today is July 3rd. So we're going to speak on everything up to this day. Shout out to 4th of July tomorrow. Most of us in our culture are and are not celebrating it, or whatever the case may be, or what not have you this evening. So shout out to all of that and everybody who is participating. Do your thing, and so mad love, fire your fireworks and stuff like that. I will be hanging out with friends and family. I might go down to the National Mall myself, Washington D.C. So it says we're live. Go celebrate the Photo Fresh Podcast, or at least episode 1, because this fireworks are very cool to watch. Our 6-month extremely enjoyable on everything that has happened. That is this year, 2024. I believe I might January, February, March, April, glad that this May, thing is working pretty decent June, right here. Right? So we're in July. Today is July 3rd. So we're gonna speak on everything. How this works. All right, and it's pretty cut in on me, pretty tight. I don't want it to be that tight on me, because I really want y'all to see some of the things that I'm doing, but that's fine. Guess I'll just come back here. Then it just looks like it's me on the mic, and that's not all the way what I want. I want a good background setting. So this is my first, I guess, live podcast, y'all. So if y'all hopefully can see everything that's going on, the audio's working right. That's what it looks like. It looks like everything is fine. So we're going to ahead and keep everything rolling. Now, like I said, we're doing a 6-month recap, okay? I have several. Oh, shit. Got to go live on Instagram, too. So what's good, y'all? I know y'all ain't really peep what I was talking about just a second ago, but it's your boy Will the Barber here at Photo Fresh Academy for the Photo Fresh Podcast. This is our live viewing right here. You have unseen notifications. Shout out to all of that good stuff. All right. In here, what I'll be doing today is breaking down all, let's see if I can type this in. 6-month recap. All right, so that's what we're doing over here. Let's see if I can pin that. All right, good. So peep this. Now for our 6-month recap, what we're doing today is we're talking about every month that we've been through so far this year, 2024, and all of the things that have happened, right? Whether it be political, whether it be around the world and stuff. Whatever situations, I pretty much had got together a nutshell of what I felt was the most important things that have occurred throughout this year. So with that, I am just breaking it down to you all on my Januaries and Februaries, March, Aprils, Mays, and Junes, right? It's pretty extensive for real. I definitely did a lot. It was a lot of research, but it was a lot going on this year. So it was pretty crazy. It was a tumultuous situation, right? First and foremost, before we get started, let me break some things down to you all. My name is Will Glenn. Shout out to it, I'm the owner of Photo Fresh Cuts and Photo Fresh Academy, ABG Times, and a couple other companies that I'm having a retarded time going through right now. Excuse my words. However, what I focus on is empowering our people and helping us grow financially and within our community. So what that entails is what I am here to do is bring us information constantly throughout the weeks and the months to bring information to our people. A lot of times our community is uninformed about what's going on in the world and what's going on in their own backyard. So I always do my best to keep up with what is happening and gain new knowledge at all times. With that, I would like to bring that information that I do my part in learning and studying and give it to all of my friends and family and loved ones in my communities that are not doing the research and the time it takes to find out what's going on and what will happen with them within the next couple of years, months, days, because everything that happens in our economy absolutely affects you one way or another, even though when we often hear that we aren't being affected by things that are happening across the world or with politics or anything like that, but that is not true. We are absolutely going through the effects of these things. So that is why I'm here to break it down to you. Okay? In January, so we'll just start with January. Now let's see if I can do something before I... So, because what I did was I broke every segment down into political segment, I did a sports segment, I did a cultural segment, and several other segments. Let's see, I highlighted it. I did a cultural segment, a finance segment, and several other sports, like I just said, sports segment, political segment. So with these things, I will go over these recaps. Okay, so number one, January. In January, we had the Russian conflict. It was on New Year's Day, Russia launched 90 drones on Ukraine, resulting in casualties and further escalations. Okay. What else happened in January? Let's see. Are all these January? Yes. The Middle East tension in January. A senior Hamas official was killed in an Israeli drone strike in Lebanon. An Iran bombing happened. Two twin bomb blasts in Crimea killed at least 95 people during the commemoration of General Qasem Soleimani. All right, natural disasters. In January, we had a magnitude 7.6 earthquake in Japan. I remember that. As a lot of people, I don't know if y'all remember that because we're all the way over here in America, but I remember that happening. Let me do this as well. I'm reading off my laptop, speaking to another laptop, talking to a phone. So I'm gonna go right here and talk to you all while reading right here. So also, what's going on? Make sure y'all subscribe to the YouTube page and stuff. It's Photo Fresh Podcast. All right, make sure y'all subscribe. This is the first podcast I'm gonna be rapping to y'all, talk about things that right now what we're going through is a recap for the year. All right, on the first recap, this is a breakdown of global events. So in February on global events as well, you had American singer-songwriter Toby Keith and actor Carl Weathers passed away in February. In March, you had Vladimir Putin won the presidential election amid allegations of unfair practices, right? And we all know that he kind of like strong-armed some people, and he also did some other things illegally with his opponents to ensure his success in winning his candidacy once more. I don't understand all the way what's going on in Russia because I thought he claimed himself to be the lifetime president. So if he claimed himself to be the lifetime president, and yet he's still having elections, it's ironic. It's hypocrisy. And then on top of that, the fact of it is, what's going on is when he does have his elections, he might strong arm his opponents or assassinate them, to even worse. So with that being said, there's no point. You might as well just pull a Kim Jong-un or what's China? Xi Jinping. So what? Celebrity milestones and excuse me for saying also in March, the Francis Scott Bridge in Baltimore collapsed and was struck by a cargo ship, right? That was a huge thing. That cargo ship hitting that bridge in Baltimore in March, that was that was something that wasn't just isolated to America and here in the northeast of this country. It happened in other places around the world almost simultaneously, meaning that this was an attack around the world to cripple the maritime trade. Okay, that's how that's viewed. And from there, with that crippling of the maritime trade, they did not announce it as in a sequence of we see this as a global terrorist attack, or that it could be anyone from Hamas to Israelites, to anybody, to the Russians. Anyone is behind this, to the Chinese, even the Americans, actually, even us. It could be anybody who crippled these bridges around the world for whatever purpose they did, whether it was to destabilize maritime trade, whether it was to say, look at these situations that's happening while things are going on over here. We're going to need to fund something to make it happen, right? So, for instance, what they did was they said right away we have to invest in this bridge. That's something they absolutely have to invest in anyway. That's the Chesapeake Bay. That is one of our largest ports on the East Coast, if not the largest port. And so there's a lot of trade that comes into Baltimore. Ironically enough, at the same time, Baltimore is one of the most impoverished cities on the East Coast, but yet it generates so much wealth for the rest of the country by importing goods. Just like how Africa is for the rest of the world, it is the central hub for all of our resource, minerals, and materials and whatnot. However, they have been divided and conquered. Okay, so and that's a true thing. What we have to know about that, and it's a quick caveat, but what we have to see in regards to Africa is that there are over 400 languages spoken in Africa, meaning that how the people cannot communicate within each other to galvanize and come up with a plan and unionize and decide this is what we will do to defend or protect ourselves. All right, this is a huge deal. For instance, I have an example. I was speaking to one of my clients today, and he's a police officer, and he broke down the fact that police officers on at least the East Coast, they have codes, right? Just like on the West Coast, they have codes. One of the most famous codes that we know within the police force is 187, right? 187 on an undercover cop. That's how I know it. And what that is killing a cop or murder of a cop, right? And that's not good or whatever. I'm not condoning that. I'm just saying that's a code. So with that code is a West Coast code that they can say 187, just like they have codes on the East Coast, and they can say whatever code they have, and the entire coast knows what that code means because it's a communication that they use for everybody to talk to all at once together. So when a police officer comes over the intercom and they say it's a 187, every police officer on the coast knows, or whoever can hear it, and as they pass it along, they all know just from saying that simple right there what it meant. So that's a clear communication. It's a clear organized structure that they created in order to have a solid organization and structure on getting things done. All right. Now, if you don't want to be effective in that manner, if we were trying to make sure that somebody could get away or whatever the case may be, just in the police force, just to use an example, comparing it to Africa, which is crazy, but that's what I'm doing. So if every police department had their own police codes, then they couldn't communicate with the next police department with trying to resolve an issue or respond to something fast. So if we're on the West Coast, because that's the only codes I know, I guess, because of music, and they said it's 187 and it's on Rodeo Drive. All right, so we know that a cop just got shot on Rodeo Drive, and we're gonna be there. And everybody who heard that knows it. And if we dispatch it out and say something to the next department, they'll hear that and they'll know it, and they know what it means, and they can respond accordingly. Now, when you look into that same type of concept in Africa, and you're speaking in your regular language to your neighbors, but you cannot communicate to them because you all have different language barriers, then That is by design, by the way. That is not happenstance. Other countries around the world do not have so many different lingual issues within the continent. And the reason why was so that they can divide and conquer. So right now you have like 40 to 30 to 40% of people in Africa speak French, with all of their other languages as a secondary language or whatnot. And even French is not widely accepted. There's a lot of teachings around the world that are not widely accepted. Here's one big thing that we as Americans must open our eyes to and recognize, which is our map is not the same map that they look at around the world. Our map and what all the countries say on our map is not the same maps and countries that everyone else recognizes on around the world. This is a European westernized format that we follow, to the point of I'm speaking English and everything that I've ever learned is English, which means I'm learning from what we have been given to learn. All right. So you have to learn from other cultures and countries to understand more than what we have in our own concept or our own backyard or on our own internet. They say that we have freedom of speech and the right to press and freedom of religion and all this other stuff, right? All of our amendments. However, I was about to go down a rabbit hole, y'all. However, with that being said, we don't receive information from other countries, right? So we're supposed to be a free speech country, but we don't receive information. So you can only speak on what you know. And that's a big thing. Like how can I speak on something that I have not learned yet? And so with the hoarding of information, you can keep somebody within a certain prism of life or of a sector of the world. All right. So that's a big thing. In May, the International Criminal Court requested arrest warrants for Israel's leaders over alleged war crimes in Gaza. That's what happened in May. All right. So I have all these facts. I'll post them up on our things and whatnot. Speaking on the international law and war crimes from Israel, that's an apartheid. All right, we must be clear. Like, let's break it down. I love people. I love human beings. So it's not anything like conflicting, but it is an apartheid. It's an apartheid. It's people that like. It's a rabbit hole going down this as well. If y'all want to hear me talk about this, please leave in the comments. Let's speak on the Israel, Gaza, Hamas conflict, Palestine conflict. All right, so and we'll go over that 100%. I'll break it all the way down. If that's a segment y'all really want me to go on, then we'll really talk about it. But I don't want to keep holding this up and go down these rabbit holes because I'll do it for each month. I promise you. So in June, we had a missing submarine. All right, the Titan submersible imploded near the Titanic wreck. This was this June? When this June? It had to be last year, resulting in the loss of all 5 passengers. This had to be last year. I don't understand how this got on here. I shouldn't have wrote that. So the U.S. Supreme Court in July, yes, landmark decisions about action, gay rights, student loans impacting national policies and civil rights. Yeah, that was big. And also the fact that Donald Trump cannot be charged for his acts inciting an insurrection, a treasonous insurrection on January 6th against our United States Capitol and our United States Congress. Like, that's a full-blown treasonous act. And if he's seen, and as he has been dismissed of this in a sense, and we'll find out what happens more in later trials, but going into all of the January 6th criminals that did what they did, they are incarcerated at this moment and they're being prosecuted. And as far as the situation continues to transpire, speaking on Donald Trump, if he ends up pardoning these people from the January 6th insurrection, then what's to say that everybody in America, as an American citizen, does not have the right to storm the Capitol at any time we deem or see fit? So with that being said, in the future, when is any problems, or as black people are saying, we want our reparations, and they have not paid us our reparations yet to this day, and we're coming up on the 250th year anniversary of America, but yet they have yet to pay the people who built the country. If people storm the Capitol, are they going to prison? Is the president going to pardon them? Because that should be the case. And out of everybody, they have the biggest right. We have the biggest right to go say we want our money. Time to pay us, right? In a non-violent format. We're not going to be. Nobody's storming the Capitol and what they do? Catch up on the walls and defecate on the seats and bring nooses in and talk about hanging people. Like, and now we're saying that this is something that was incited by one person, and they cannot be prosecuted for it any longer. And if you do, it's because, and the only reason why we're doing this is because we don't want any other presidents to be prosecuted under these same statutes. That's malarkey. It's a lot of bullshit right there. At the end of the day, that was an entire criminal act. It was treasonous. It wasn't even criminal. It was treason, high treason. So, I mean, we saw what Obama trying to get rid of Guantanamo Bay his entire time he was in office. If we had Guantanamo for any reason, it should be to lock up Donald Trump. And wow. So, all right, here we go. January for black culture, right? Let's roll it. Let's keep it rolling. We having, what's good, y'all? Make sure y'all subscribe to the YouTube channel if y'all haven't already. KF, all y'all, you know what I'm saying? Go log into the YouTube and watch that joint right now. It's Photo Fresh Podcast. All right, it's easy. I should have typed that on there. Photo Fresh Podcast. Go subscribe. We live right now. So, shit's going down. It's crazy. I'm just talking about regular stuff. And I'm making sure that I got all y'all on here. So that's good. And I feel like I'm giving my IG a little more attention than the podcast. But that's because, shout out to y'all, IG. More people streaming, coming up on here than they are on the podcast on live right now on YouTube and on Twitch and stuff like that. YouTube, Twitch, what else? YouTube, Twitch, Streamlab is where we're streaming from. Onto TikTok, Instagram, and one more. And I just said, I believe, TikTok. But we're streaming. We're on everything. I'm going to be going live with y'all a lot more, a lot, all the time from now on. So y'all stay tuned. I'm going to get the cameras together and make sure that it's working right. My angles are going to be switching all the time. It's going to be mad crazy. Let's see if I could do that. I don't want to mess nothing up, but I'm sure it's not going to let me. And it won't. But that's all good because I'm learning and I'm going to have it together in a second. So let's see. I don't want to mess it up, but we're going to try to see if we can do this. RGB, boom, boom, boom. It's moving slow, but I don't think it's going to work. I don't know why it's not working, but we're going to get that together. I should be able to change from camera to camera. Bang, bow, bang, bow, bang, bow. It's tight to me, but y'all can't see that yet. So it should set up soon, and once I got that configured, then we'll be great. The hardest part that we was having this whole time was getting our mics together, and I got like 4 or 5 mics that should all be connected at one time, and they're not. So we're going to work that out too. So right now, I'm just finessing and talking to y'all how we need to, okay? Let's go over now. We real quick. Let's see. I'm gonna try to skip through. We had a lot of things happen this year. A lot of things. All right. I think I'm gonna go for a fun moment. We're gonna talk sports. All right. Quick fun time. Sports. January we had the football college playoff national championship. Georgia was defeated by Michigan, 38-33. That blew me. Shout out to Georgia. That's my team. I love them to death. Those my guys. And I cut some of the Alabama guys too, so that was crazy because I needed everybody to look good. Everybody did, so shout out to it. And Michigan ended up winning off of that cheat. I don't know how you keep your job or keep this. These people be cheat. All these Brett Favres out here, man. Like, what's going on? All these Tom Brady's. This is wild. This is why if that's what they got to do to get the upper leg in the game, clearly everybody who wins, y'all, do something dirty. We seeing Trump about to win. He do something dirty. Everybody who be trying to play clean be taking the long road, right? Everybody, you seeing all the movies and all the stuff, all the drug dealers and everybody, they be making it. And it's because they be taking a huge risk. The higher the risk, the bigger the reward, right? But the bigger you are, the harder you fall. That's how I go, right? So, and that's a true thing. That's a true thing. Like, that's a true thing. And you can sometimes see where somebody might not have did something, but because they're so big that and no Diddy, but that's why they're attacked. And it makes sense. Man, yesterday I was hungry, y'all. I hadn't ate all day, and I bit down on some food, and I guess I bit so hard I accidentally bit my tooth or something. I don't know how you do it. You bite your tooth with your tooth. Like, how'd that happen? But I think I did, man. It's just acting like it's gonna come out. I mean, it ain't loose. And as a grown man, your tooth get loose, then it ain't getting tight again no more. So it's so it's gonna come out. Like, but it's not loose at all. It's just sore. So I think it's just my nerves. But I don't like that. I don't like that. I love my teeth. In Jesus' name, I kept them all. I want to keep them all and maintain them forever. So that's why I don't like that. So I've been like, I don't even know what I'm doing right now. NFL playoffs, all right? The Kansas City Chiefs, Cincinnati Bengals, San Francisco 49ers, and the Philadelphia Eagles advanced to the conference championships. And, of course, I believe the Chiefs won, right? Ain't that what happened? Forgot. So if I'm wrong, y'all go ahead and correct me. I forgot what happened. NBA regular season, everybody did good and stuff. The Lakers look good. And these are all my opinions right here. The Lakers look good, y'all. If they did not play, who they played? They played the Nuggets. If they didn't play the former champions, they would have went even further. Okay, if the Timberwolves didn't have to give all their energy to beat the Denver Nuggets, then they would have they would have won. All right, so that was the hard time and all of that. They would have beat the Mavericks. So, and the Mavericks, they didn't have nothing for Boston. You talking about Cap? Cap on what? Which part? I'm for real. On the what's called Chiefs won. I said Chiefs won. Chiefs won, and I'm also saying that I'm not saying the Lakers would have won. I'm just saying the Lakers would have went a little further. They're not even my team. The Hawks my team, but I'm just saying they would have won. They would have won a little more games. They would have got past, I don't know, they got their ass bust by Timberwolves. But at least they would have, so, yeah, they probably wouldn't have made it nowhere. But that's funny. At the end of the day, let's see what happens this year. Bronny, they talking about they already looking at sending him to the G League. So, or at least to get some training and some reps. And then they got a heart monitor on him or something like that, keeping his pace, trying to see what's up with him. If his heart beats too many times per minute, some shit I heard like that. I don't know. That's wild. So I'm gonna just do I'm gonna go around and recaps, y'all. All right, I'm jumping around now. So what else we had in January? In the finance department, the Federal Reserve meeting January 30th and 31. The Fed held its first meeting of the year, setting the tone for the monetary policy amid persistent inflation concerns. All right. So, and what they decided in that time was to raise inflation some more. All right, so right now, the housing market inflation rate has increased about, 8 times or something like that, and I'm sure it's way more than that. And so what that means is, I don't know if everybody understands what inflation is or how inflation works. I'm not even going to give you the full breakdown, but I'll give you the nutshell on the back end of how it affects you, okay? So basically, people had too much money, quote unquote. People had too much money and they wasn't spending it. That's where it fake starts, okay? So then they're like, but then we also had equity. People were buying houses. Remember this whole housing market boom of 2020 and stuff like that? They said people buying too much houses and saving their money too fast. We got to slow it down. We need to get that back. All right. They tell it to us different ways. They lie to us and say it the opposite way of what that is. But I'm telling it to you the direct way of what it is. The direct way is that we were doing good off of Obama. We got into Trump time. Trump kind of helped us a little better with the economy and stuff. Fuck Trump. But just saying, like, and he only helped by driving inflation because he inflated America. He did it by pouring so much more money into the country that it gave everybody these savings, okay? I need y'all to learn that and understand what I'm saying, all right? This basic concept. So we had more money because of all the $4 trillion. That shit's insane. That was a lot of money. And so, and shout out to it. But say you give me $4 trillion. Or no. Obviously you don't give me $4 trillion. Shout out to that. But like say I get $1 million today, and I didn't have $1 million this morning, right? But say I got $1 million this afternoon. What you think I'm gonna do? As let's say I was smart about my money. I didn't go do dummy things and buy clothes and cars and shoes and stuff. I go and I buy a house, and then I open a business, and now I have that money making money for me, and I'm driving up my equity, and I'm making more money now, right? So all I did was make that money smarter and make it more money for me. Let's say I put a lot of it in crypto too, so now the government can't even touch it. So basically, I just did all the right things with my money, and now a couple months later, I have $3 million. So now I'm up. I'm making more money, and I'm not spending it because I kept my costs low and my expenses are still low, and I'm only paying about $10,000 a month in bills, and so everything is working out. And the government's like, hey man, it's too much money. It's too much money on the floor. It's too much money on the floor, and we're not able to sell and buy things how we need to, or the supply and demand is not matching because they got more supply and their demand is not as high as what we need to sell off. So what they'll do is they'll raise the interest rate to affect everybody to where like so that it hurts you. And I still kind of gave you a rap sheet just now, and I'm sorry, but let me close it and say it a little better. They raise the interest rates because it's too easy to purchase everything up, and so the supply it wasn't enough supply for the demand. So you raise interest rates to lower that. And so what happens is now, like, and the interest rates, they don't go to you, it goes to the bank. All right. And I'm trying to just say this as clear as possible. So when they're raising interest rates, they're making the interest rates more appealing for the banks to lend you money. All right. So like this, like say I'm a bank and I can only lend you, the government says I can only charge you 5% on giving you money, right? On whatever I give you money, no matter what. For the worst credit person I give money to, I can only charge him up to 5% of interest on the money I gave them. All right. So that's interest. Now, when they raise the interest, what they're doing is they're saying to the banks, you can now charge them 7%. You can now charge them 8%. You can now charge them 10%. And every time they increase it, they're telling me, the bank, you can charge the people you're giving money more interest on the money you're giving them. All right. And so what that does is it makes me giving money to people more appealing. I like that now. I like to, if the government's saying I can't give, if I give somebody $1,000 and I can only get 5% interest, then I kind of don't want to give you $1,000. Now, if they saying, cause that's like what, I'm being slow. That's $50, right? So now or is that $100? I don't know. It's one of them. Or it's 50. So let's say it's 50. So let's say, cause it's easy math, $1,050. All right. So let's say that the bank says now, I mean, the government says now, okay, you can start charging people, you can charge people 15% interest, Will, as you give them $1,000. So they just increase interest. They just increase the interest rate. All right, that's what they just did. So every time you hear them say they increase interest rate, it's to the banks. The bank, they saying you can charge people more money to give them more money, right? So they screwing the middle class people. It's just to say, how can we fuck them a little more? They doing too good. How can we get some of this money back, right? Because what'll happen is our government will go upside down. They doing so good, and that's the lie theory. What they're doing so good, they can help us. We can tax them, basically. But the wild part about all of this, and I'll get to that in a quick second. So now I can start charging 15% on interest rates. So now I'm getting $150 off of $1,000 that I'm dishing out, right? So that makes me a little more appealing to give out money, right? But at the end of the day, I'm still not giving out that many loans that I could. So what happens from there is that the government see I'm not giving out that many loans to people, and so what they do from there is they say, okay, we're going to increase it again. So they keep increasing it to make it more appealing for me to start giving money out to people so that they can buy their houses and stuff and everything else. But we all know that I'm going to give out those loans, and then those people cannot afford to pay those loans because of that high interest rate that they purchased their loan at. So now I'm telling y'all this situation upon me being the bank, and I gave y'all $1,000 with a 15% interest rate, and so that's $150, right? Now let's fast forward. Now let's increase those numbers to $400,000 at 30% interest rate. That's insane. 30% of $400,000. You got to pay that, and then it's compounded interest, and then it's set to an APR or whatever else, or set to an APR, and so you're never gonna be able to pay that. I mean, you can, but they're charging you. Mind you, they gave you the money based on you being able to pay it back at the rate of $400,000, not at the rate of $400,000 plus 30% interest. The 30% interest is for the bank, for them to make their money to be happy about giving you that much money, supposedly, quote unquote. But again, all of this is because America was doing good and people were saving their money. So when we have a government that has, imposed all of these taxes on us constantly, causing our economy to cripple. Meanwhile, we have tariffs, and we do all of these things we do all of these things for other countries. We dish out so much money to other countries in the billions and trillions of dollars. However, they just passed a law this week that said homeless people cannot live on the streets anymore. If you're not in a home, then you will be arrested and put in jail. That's insane. I just drove through the Midwest a second ago, well, this past week, and I drove past 1,000 acres of land that there was no inhabitants on. Granted, that might be farmland and whatnot, but the agricultural grants that some of these people have, they don't deserve them. They're not even doing their part properly with that land, and a lot of the land is not being cultivated and farmed right. So, if anything, agricultural grants are supposed to be given to black people. All right. One of the biggest things that happened in 1863, we had the Emancipation Proclamation, right? In 1865, 2 years after that, we had Juneteenth. And to be clear, what happened with Juneteenth, that was black people coming from up north by the Union and stuff and going through the South and saying, we're free. You're not slaves anymore. They were sneaking on the slave plantations and telling people you free and y'all all need to go. All right. They had guns and muskets and stuff, and they figured out ways, and they went to war against certain people, and people got off of their lands, and because white people were not trying to give up their slaves. All right. And so there was a long conflict with that. So in the later half of 1865 and 1866, our government, hey, that's hilarious. Wake Up Wednesday for sure. our government, our government. So real quick caveat, I don't know if y'all know this. Black people were supposed to get 40 acres and a mule, right? We all heard this before, 40 acres and a mule. We were supposed to get that. We didn't receive our 40 acres and a mule because of the Confederate. All right, my nigga Derek XIV, my bad. Hey, look, I ain't even saying N-word. But shout out to it. So look, peep this. Our 40 acres and a mule was converted into a new bill that was the agricultural bill for white people who were part of the Confederate Army, okay, or part of the Confederate militia. I'm gonna say them like that. So the Confederate militia, when they were dismantled in that time, our government said the land that we were going to give black people, the 40 acres and a mule for all black people, we're going to give it to you all. All right, we're going to give it to all of the Confederate generals and lieutenants and stuff. And not only are we going to give y'all 40 acres each, we're going to give each of you 120 acres. All right, because there was a lot less population of them than there are for us. Okay, so they were able to get 120 acres each. All right, and that it was with the promise that they will never try to combat the Union again. All right, so it was to pay them off to live a good life and leave us alone. And they gave them the Midwest. And that's why they have agriculture all through the Midwest. And they have agricultural grants and stuff. And that's why they own that land. And here's another fun fact. All of the counties in America are named after somebody's plantation or somebody who got that land. And that land is their land. Okay, so to this day, deep state. This is the deep state that we talk about. You pay when you pay your taxes and your property tax and stuff like that, a percentage goes to the names that is on our county. All right, the family name is on our county. They still receive money. They still own those counties. It's still their land. This is the deep state. When you hear deep state stuff, all right. So deep state stuff is all of the goings and the circulation of money and the power moves that are happening that control all of the regular society, if that's what you want to call it, okay? So when things are happening that we see and everybody knows is full bullshit, all right, let's call it what it is. Complete bullshit that happens. And like, okay, I mean, I hate to bring the guy back up, but Donald Trump, right? Donald Trump, he gave a full speech on January 6th about go storm the Capitol. Go get Mike Pence. Like, and for this not to be prosecuted properly, and you know how if he was a black man, it don't even have to be Obama, it could be anybody. We know how it is, what would happen. So when you see things like that, and he's able to walk scotch-free, and then 34 counts of felonies later when you can't even vote as a felon, but yet he's running for president. This should be a clear and indicating sign to you that there's a deep state going on. There's a deeper plan. There's more shit here than what we go through, than what we're susceptible to, right? Or what we witness. I'm dropping everything. One of the key big things and notations to that concept, I mean, there's 1,000 of them. We see all these old people in office when the country is the majority of America, the age group of Americans, the majority of us are between 20 and, well, we got a lot of kids, y'all, believe it or not. They keep trying to say we haven't been having kids, and there's this whole conflict, and that's why with the world and who's having babies and stuff, because you don't want to have a generation gap to where it's like you don't have any children for 20 years, and then you got 40-year-old people working, and then you got babies. And so now you don't have that gap of people working, that a 20-year gap of people working. So all the old people are going to be working until they're even older, right? And so that's the type of situations they try to fix or whatever and correct with this whole baby situation. And they're doing that in competition to other countries who don't have babies or whatever, baby gaps or whatever else. But going back to my original statement with that, the majority of people in America are actually the age gap of between, I said 20, but between 15 and 45. All right. So most people in America have common sense to see that why the hell are we being governed by all of these old folks? I understand that elder people have a lot more knowledge than younger folks, like including myself clearly. However, like the mind to use it or the wit to bring it out right when you need to and say the things that you need to say without saying and but and huh and what, you can get that done at a younger age in a more efficient process with the same elder person being your advisor. So this is malarkey. Now that's part of a deep state when they have a controlling thumb, right? It's hilarious. No, I'm just being honest. Like that's like they have a controlling thumb of what happens in our economy. When we're paying taxes on every single thing that you get, like mind you, this is something I was talking to one of my people about earlier today, right? You have net income and then you have gross income. All right. Shout out to what they both mean. I completely understand. Gross income is what you made originally. Like say if I worked all day and I make $10 an hour and I work 10 hours, then I got $100. That's my gross, right? Now, minus my income tax, well, you know, my state tax, my federal tax, my benefits, whatever, my healthcare plan and all that other stuff. Now I got $56. That's my net income, right? Shout out to the net income. Now peep this. Whenever you go for anything in life in a good aspect, when you're trying to buy something for yourself or you're trying to get a house, car, anything you go for, what do you think they ask for? They always ask for the dumbass net income, right? Now, whenever you go for anything that's a problem, you go into court, anything legal, anything bad, anything that harms you, they want to see your taxes for whatever reason, they're going to look at your gross income. How much money did he make originally? She make originally, right? Gross income. Why do they do that? They want every dollar you got over the money that you got to pay on top of something else. That's insane. But this is a systematic destruction of our people in America that is constantly happening. Like, if you don't see this attack on your persons, this is insane. I don't like the Second Amendment, right? About, you know, the right to bear arms and stuff. Like I'm lying. I do like it a lot. I support that. I do even have my own. So shout out to that, right? But at the end of the day, moral of the story, let me say it better. I do support it. I'm lying. I support the Second Amendment. Shout out to it. So I'm lying. I didn't mean to say that the way I said it. I can say it a lot better, which is assault rifles, right? We don't need assault rifles. We don't need butt stocks. And they just, what is up with our Supreme Court justices? What is going on? This is crazy. They just legalized butt stocks again. Bump stocks. Excuse me. I'm talking about butt stocks. B-U-M-P. B-U-M-B. Bum stocks. Or B-U-M, whatever. Bum stocks. Bum stocks. B-U-M-B. Bum stocks. I believe that's the name of it. Okay. What's up, man? What's up, Armani? Bum stocks. Whatever, however you spell it. I don't use them, but I know exactly all about them. What they are, it's a butt stock that goes on the back of the gun or the assault rifle, and it clips on the back, and then it got like a little hook and it goes around where the trigger is. And so you just hold on to the back on the butt stock, and then all you do is pull the trigger one time, and the gun gonna fire itself, because this little clamp right here on this butt stock has a little hook, and so it's just gonna make the gun keep jamming up, and it's going to keep shooting and firing off rounds at an extremely rapid pace, making it pretty much an assault rifle. But because the Supreme Court said that technically the gun is still a semi-automatic rifle, because you still have to technically pull the trigger each time to make the gun fire. Instead of an automatic weapon, you hold the trigger and it continues to fire. So regardless, it's still creating the mechanism for a rapid fire, which is what you don't want. There's no reason to have rapid fire in America, in your civilized location or your city or your town, right? So to caveat on that, There's no reason for police officers to have them either. There is no reason for police officers to walk around cities with assault rifles. It makes no sense. It makes no sense. A ban on assault rifles is something that is absolutely needed for America's safety. The only reason why I see any of that type of notation to be in any shape, form, or fashion something like we would want it is to deter war. All right. You get past America's military or our Coast Guard. Good luck with our citizens. All right. No one stands a chance against an American homeland conflict, clearly. And that's why we have weapons. But the problem is we have to guard ourselves and watch ourselves from each other. All right. The Feds in June this year, the Feds continued to focus on inflation, controlled influence market movements, and investors' sentiment. All right, what else? In July, global trade developments, changes in global trade policies, including U.S.-China relations, influence market performance and investor strategies. All of these are happening. Throughout the first half of 2024, key, shout out to this, y'all. Peep this. So, hold on, I got you. Hold on, 20 seconds. Y'all know I'm on the jump right now. Yeah, y'all gotta hold tight though. You know what I'm saying? I'm coming here ruining. I'm talking, y'all. I shouldn't open the door if you gonna come mess it up. You know what I'm saying? What's up, y'all? We back. So yeah, I got 2 more, but I done had plenty of people though. So
I was joining up too.
I saw that. I saw you on here. Was they watching? Everybody left.
Yeah, everybody.
They some shit.
Everybody joined up, I think.
They all joined. Did they still here? Or they gone?
They gone.
They gone? I bet they are. I know, right? What's up, Moot? You know what I mean? So, look, I'm just talking about several things. In January, we had the guns and guns in post office. Y'all gone? You the man. Hey, shout out to my man Ray. Hold up, Ray Clips with a Z. Make sure y'all go follow, subscribe, and all the good stuff.
Hey man, go subscribe, man. Get with me, man.
Hey, the coldest apprentice we got here. He holding it down.
Coldest apprentice
Ever, for real. Yeah, hey, no real talk, man. You got it. You know what I'm saying? Claim that junk. See you in the morning. Just don't forget though. Stay fresh, man. I'll be here at like 9:30. All right, bet. Yeah, y'all. Appreciate y'all. We shouldn't. Next time the podcast up. Hey, man. You feel me? I am gonna run for Congress one day though. So I am gonna run for Congress. I do hope that I have everything lined up and good to go. I have had all type of situations in my life. I've been arrested. I've been to jail. I have children, all type of stuff. So I believe that I'm a real citizen of America, a full human being. You know what I'm saying? I served our country, right? I don't want to start giving all my accolades. I gave some of the bad and good. But yeah, I served my country for 10 years. I flew as a crew chief in the Army and jump. I worked in the House of Representatives for a while. I own several companies. I employ people. I've employed over 30 people. So I definitely am going to keep this path going and keep it as I'm a real American citizen who supports our people, and I just want to start bringing some real truths to y'all. All right. So guns in post offices. A federal judge in Florida ruled that the ban on guns in post offices were unconstitutional, citing the Supreme Court decisions from 2022 that expanded guns rights. All right, so they did that. I don't understand all the way, but I do. So shout out to it. Like, I thought we were talking about guns in schools. Originally this year we were going to pass a law about that, and I do still kind of support that. I do feel that if there's a lockbox in, I don't know, not a gun in every classroom. That's insane. But maybe one gun on each hall in a lockbox somewhere only the teachers know. the students cannot know its whereabouts, and it's extremely secured, and it's somewhere to whereas the teachers can get to in a egress manner to, detain whatever to deter the problem inside of the school. I feel like that would be the best outcome at the moment, because growing up, I remember that schools we had bulletproof glass doors. We had locks on the doors. The doors, when you close the doors for the school, you couldn't get in the school. When you go in your classes, the classes doors are closed. The doors were thick, wood thick doors and stuff. Bullets can't just go straight through those and all that. And we had the small rectangular glass that you can look through and see the classroom. But at the same time, guess what? I also grew up in a black community, and come to find out, those were schools that were designed to, those were schools that were designed to give us the school to jail format. So hear me out. A lot of those schools, they were built with thick walls and thick doors, and just like jails are, and with no windows. I went to several schools in Atlanta. I'm from Atlanta, y'all. I went to several schools. I went to Stone Mountain Middle School. I went to Stone Mountain High School and Redan High School. All right. I just want to talk about these two schools specifically first. So those two schools have the exact same design, and neither school has windows. All right. They have no windows. There's corridors, and it locks down, and it's pretty much a child detention center. And you don't look at it like that, and you wouldn't be perceived like that unless somebody told you. Then you would understand, like, oh, my high school definitely don't have any windows, and it's definitely a brick building, like brick walls, like a jail. It's crazy. So our schools are not built in a creative format for you to stimulate your creative mind. If any of what I'm saying makes sense. So they have, there's always been a control on keeping our education in one path. All right. Rockefeller started this whole thing in the beginning, right? It said the school to factory pipeline, something like that, right? You want to teach them how to follow rules and be on the assembly line, so that when they graduate high school, they go straight into the factories or straight into the workforce, and then they continue to work through that same format of school to factory pipeline, all right, or assembly line pipeline. That's what that is. So when you have students or kids that are learning from their parents, or they're learning from a higher educational institution where there are not brick walls for the building, but glass walls, to where as you can see outside, and you understand that your education is not limited to this building. It is not limited to what this person is instructing you. All right. That is a strong influence that they want to indoctrinate on us constantly. So the biggest part of that is we still do, as parents and as adults, have to go to work and provide for our children. And we don't have that energy to raise our kids, or teach them like how that is. You feel me? You said, why not just have multiple armed guards, teachers having guns, and teachers, right? So the reason why is because the cost. Obviously, they don't want to spend on multiple armed guards, and that makes a lot of sense. Multiple armed guards. Let's say we have 5 armed guards at the school. 5 armed guards at every school. First off, just in Fort Washington, we probably got 10 schools. I don't know. Fort Washington got 10 schools. 5 times 10 is 50. We paying them all $30 an hour. So damn, man, it's just too much. It's too much. We running it up. In 1 week, we're paying out well over, $5,000, $10,000 a week. Like that's crushing our overhead. And mind you, we're government funded schools. The students aren't technically paying for much and all that. So They pay for their lunch, and a lot of times they got government subsidized lunches and stuff. So the government's paying for these schools, and that's another reason why the education is so flat ass. All right, I'm gonna call it that. Hilarious, flat ass. That's how educated. If you don't after you get out of school continue to educate yourself, you will remain stuck in the same mindset that you had when you graduated. All right, for what people think and know, they don't like to continue to learn. Like most of the time, we're always learning the same things, and the same concept is on social media stuff. All right, if it don't pop up on your timeline, then you're not gonna see it. And on top of that, the only things that do pop up on your timeline are things that are consistent with what you talk about on a daily basis, because your phone is listening and from what you like to view. So you're always going to see the same things, which means you don't get a broader horizon of information from your phone or from the social medias that we get. And that in itself goes back to what I was saying about a controlled media format. We all know right now that all the media in America is controlled by like 3 or 4 major groups of people, right? If not one group of people. But it's all controlled by a handful of people who are deciding what is the important news for the day. That is not good and healthy. And that's why we have these podcasts, because what we've all known and seen is that if something's going on here in Maryland and something's going on out in California, something's going on in Florida, Maine, Kentucky, and Louisiana, all this shit, right? Something going on all these places. Why the fuck do they all have the same exact news and the same story, right? It's because whoever's on top in this part, that's deep state. Even if deep state is not real, it's a real thing. You have to think like this. Like maybe they don't have a thing they call themselves the deep state. But you have to think like, who is pulling the strings? That is who the deep state is, okay? And I guess I'm a conspiracy guy, but that is who they are. So the people who are in charge of pushing this out to everybody around America, saying, and then mind you, all these news people, even like say me, I'm a passionate person. I want to go into news reporting and being a reporter and broadcasting and stuff like that, right? So I'm a journalist now and I'm a press person. So I go out and I find the stories. So as I go and I find a story, and this story is so good, and I want to air it right now tonight, and I bring it to my editor and I break it down to them, they give me a list of what will be airing. Your story is scratched. It doesn't air. You're going to have to sell it off to a blog or whatever. But you can't do that sometimes because they're like, hey, you already gave the story to us. Now it is part of our intellectual property as a news media company. So as its intellectual property now, if you give it to anybody else, you have now breached our contract and we can sue you. All right. So that is how they hold our press's information when you have the freedom of press, but yet they don't use it. All right. Because if you work for a press organization and then you create a document, that's intellectual property that's now theirs. And so you can't use that. So these are all loopholes to keep people silent. And what happens is they still push the media and the news they wanted to push. And the people that's the faces on these news broadcasts, all these anchors, they're going along with it. They're going along with it. We saw throughout the presidential election with Trump how Tucker Carlson was saying all type of stuff, and how the January 6th thing, he said all these things, right? And then he had to recant his story when the shit hit the fan, like last year, right? And what happened from there? He got fired from his job, and that was that. And now he had to try to go pick up his own thing. But the point is, like, they burned him too. By the way, they burned him. So moral of the story, clearly he didn't like Trump, or he does like Trump, or whoever knows the case. But what clearly happened was that he does have common sense. He is a human being who knows right from wrong and will get up there in front of a media broadcast in front of millions of people and tell you something different, because he's being paid to do that. So he was influencing us the wrong way, and he was manipulating people because he knew better. Even though he's for Fox, and obviously everybody who was watching Fox are and was being manipulated. And so as that was exposed, then, you know, they fired him because they burned him as if they weren't the ones who told him to do those things. So it's hypocrisy. It's hypocrisy every step of the way. I'm sorry, I'm rapping like a mug, y'all. A whole bunch of things happened, but at the end of the day, moral story, if y'all have any segments y'all want me to talk about, please go ahead and like write it in the comments. I'm gonna post this right here and leave it up, and y'all can continue to watch it. I know I rambled and jumped all over the place and stuff and said a whole bunch of stuff. Shout out to, I didn't finish basketball, I didn't finish NFL. Basketball, we supposed to talk about the WNBA. I'm a quick caveat. I'm not closing out on nothing before we talk about the WNBA at least. All right. Shout out to Angel Reese. Like she did her thing for multiple years, and honestly, she brought a lot of attention to basketball. All right. So she brought a lot of information. I mean, not information. I'm bringing information. She brought a lot of attention to basketball, to women's basketball, and the catalyst of it was Caitlin Clark. Shout out to that. Well, I don't know if she was the catalyst, but she catapulted it. She catapulted it. And that was dope. That was dope. And so, but we see what it is. It was because she was marketable. All right, and we're going to call it like that because that's what it is. She was a marketable player. Angel Reese is extremely marketable. Like now let me think. Can we market a villain easier than we can market a hero? All right. And so, like, she came in the game as a dog, as a beast, Angel Reese. And I'm proud of her. I love her to death. And I don't wish nothing but big success for her. Everything that Caitlin Clark got, she should have got times 4. In my opinion, that's the truth. And not only times 4 for her, but times 8 for all the women in the WNBA who've been winning championships left and right for the past decades. All right. So it's insane how this is happening. Just 2 days ago, we had the largest crowd ever in WNBA game of 20,000 people. And that's a shame to me, honestly. That's a shame. 20,000 people, that's a college game. That's a college game. We can fill that up at a men's college game. So if we can fill up a men's college game constantly, and for the first time ever, women's basketball got like that, we have people like, and now I'm saying we have people like Brittany Griner who can dunk. I need Brittany Griner to start dunking way more every game. Dunk on girls, try to yam on people. Let's see these games turn up. They need to start windmilling. That's what's going to change the game for WNBA. Ladies, just get on that Vertimax, start getting them legs strong, and start dunking on people. That's all you got to do. Real talk. People go to the game to see somebody fall and see somebody get dunked on in the NBA. Nowadays, since Steph Curry, we've been seeing gymmers. We've been seeing everybody shoot, or Curry, I guess. How I'm going to say gymmer for Curry? That's wild. But that's what we've been seeing. That's what we've been seeing, right? So that was the conversion for men. It turned from physical in the paint, dunking and being physical with each other, to now it went into a more technical game. Now it's a lot less fouling. It's a lot more shooting. So honestly, with ladies, it's going to have to be the opposite. Ladies going to have to get a little rougher. They're going to have to start dunking. So going back to Angel Reese, she should get paid more, because being that dog is going to bring the WNBA all of that attention, which is what it did, to the point of why Caitlin Clark got the attention she got, because she wouldn't have got that if Angel Reese wasn't building that up, if everybody else that was already in the WNBA wasn't building that up in the first place. So shout out to all of that. Mad love to all of them. I'm crazy proud of both of them. I'm crazy proud of Caitlin Clark. She's doing her thing. Like, I'm crazy. Like, every now and then she gets an ass bust. Or not every now and then. A lot of games she can get her ass bust. But at the same time, she's also breaking records in WNBA, which means she getting an ass bust, but yet still breaking records, because You know, so shout out to that. Like, I could, if you looking bad, but yeah, you still doing your thing. Like LeBron. Oh Lord, I'm gonna get off. We gonna get off with this one, y'all. Like off the joint with this. But LeBron, shout out to LeBron. We couldn't ask for a better role model in the black community. Like anybody else could argue that one, but keeping it real, my guy is holding it down. So we've seen him 21 years in the NBA, right? 18 years outside of the NBA as a child, but he also played so basically majority of his life he was in professional basketball. That's insane. More of his life was in professional basketball than outside of professional basketball. I'm gonna post all these snippets for sure. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, all the way. I'm definitely posting snippets. So, that's crazy. Like, that's crazy. Woo, I'm gonna save this whole jump. Hopefully it do save. I should have big memory on all of my devices, whatever else. But I'm gonna get off, man. Like, look, I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna close it out with LeBron. He doing his thing. Shout out to him. Very proud of him. I'm proud of his son, Bronny. Like, I wish him big health and stuff. And I hope his heart continues to do amazing. And all these other good things. I pray LeBron stays healthy. I pray that all my black people, we vote for Kamala Harris because we want her in office. All right. Joe Biden, I didn't think he was gonna make it past his first term. We still in his first term, but I didn't think he was gonna get this far. But I definitely thought it was gonna be Kamala pick it up a long time ago, and then she was gonna run for office right now. And just so y'all know, if Biden steps down or if something happens and he has to step down, then Kamala is that person that is gonna step up. So we all have to go vote. All right. So that's a big thing, and because we can't vote for Trump. Biden said it himself right there inside of the debate. That shit was crazy. He said, "You did the Roe v. Wade thing as a prerequisite to try and see how it's gonna work when you get ready to dismantle civil rights." And Trump was like, "Hey, that right there alone, I don't care about nothing else. Right there alone, you can't vote for him. You can't vote for him." All right? He just said he did Roe v. Wade. First off, that's wild in itself, the whole Roe v. Wade situation. So he talking about he did Roe v. Wade just to get ready to do that to civil rights. So we about to be segregated, y'all. We gonna have to focus on opening our own banks. Industrial bank, that's a black bank. Make sure y'all check on that. And rebuilding our communities that they burnt down. The only one that we ever hear about is Tulsa. But what y'all don't know is we had in Congress in the late 1800s, after the Emancipation Proclamation of 1865, by the 1880s to 1890s, we had 18 to 21 delegates in Congress, black delegates in Congress, passing laws and bills for us. And we had like 3,000 congressmen in political offices all over America, black people. Okay? Believe it or not, that's the late 1800s. So what happened was Jim Crow. That's why they created Jim Crow laws. That's why KKK was created. That's why we stopped voting, because we were all Republicans and we were voting that whole time. After the 16th president, he was a Republican and he got us out and shit like that. So we remained Republican and we started voting Republican, and we started getting bills passed for us, and we started building cities, building roads, and all these things was happening for us. Hair care products, barbershops, our millionaires. Everybody were becoming millionaires as black people. W.E.B. Du Bois, like, he's part of this. He built Idlewild up in Ohio. Like, that's a city that's still there to this day, a black city. And they didn't tear that one down because he was part of their system, and he was going against Marcus Garvey, who was really our guy. Shout out to W.E.B. Du Bois, he our guy. But Marcus Garvey was our guy, okay? And so, and do your own research. Do your own research. Marcus Garvey is the originator of the civil rights movement, okay? But I'm going to leave y'all on that. I broke down a lot of stuff. I went through all these things, quick caveats on shit. You know what I'm saying? I didn't even talk about the whole Gaza-Israel conflict because that is just overwhelming, and we do need to talk about it. So when y'all are ready, y'all write in those comments that we need to have a segment on that, and I'm gonna break that all the way down. I will talk to you about that from the history at the beginning of why things happen all the way to right now to where they are. Okay, I have a good understanding of what happened with all of that. And shout out to Abraham. Abraham's the father of all three religions, right? And he was black. He was from West Africa. He went over to Egypt and then to Israel, where Jerusalem, and then he came back. And then his generations later was Solomon. More generations later is Moses, that was left in Egypt, that was left in Jerusalem. He went back to Africa. He came from Africa and came over to America. And it's all before white people did anything in all these places. All of this stuff is documented. Abraham did all these things, y'all. So when they talk about the father of the three religions, and it's crazy how we all have a conflict between each other when we all got the same pops or something. Now, mind you, Abram of Ham. Ham is the black father, the son of Noah that was in Africa. All right, so Egypt is Africa. Crazy. His name was Abram of Ham. Abraham. Fun facts about Will. Don't forget, stay fresh. Make sure y'all subscribe. Subscribe to the YouTube. Subscribe to the podcast. Subscribe to the YouTube. Subscribe to the podcast. All right. I'm going to be going live all the time. I'm going to make sure I break this joint down to y'all. You say if African Americans come together, we will truly prosper. Yes, indeed. The wildest thing about it is we don't speak the same language. We all got to speak the same language. So, but it's definitely coming. It's definitely coming. And I'm not even about to continue to perpetuate the fact that we not on the same page. We all on the same page, and we will be on the same page. You're right, Mook. So, and I appreciate you staying on this live and supporting this live right here. You done had me turned up this whole time. You already know. So, don't forget, y'all, stay fresh. Subscribe to Photo Fresh Podcast. Check it out. We're going to come to y'all live every Wednesday with new information. Every week, the studio going to get bigger, and better. All beautiful stuff. We got a whole bunch of equipment and everything, and we usually over there. But today, I was rapping to y'all on my own. I just wanted to test some of this equipment out because some of the things have been acting funny. So, like right now, I've had to do live over here, and then I had to do YouTube over here. So, I've been looking back and forth on the screens, but it's supposed to be able to pan back and forth, and I have it on my stream joint, and it goes for all the streaming all at once. So, it didn't do that today because they was talking about you gotta wait 60 days. Like, what? It's always a new rule they put against you, or a new regulation to stop you from doing something you need or want to do right now in your life. It's always a hold, okay? And why do they do that? So they can control you, so they can have their thumb on you. All right? That's the truth. Don't ask permission, ask forgiveness, and don't forget